So in last session we see a simple use case end-to-end web implementation we have done, right? Uh, Web SMS web application. There we created one front end and back end using Ajax calls. We made end-to-end communication. Yeah. So here is the front end page that we created. So in that front end, we have created one table with static headers and table body data we were loading from Ajax call during document ready. This is a simple jQuery function. jQuery document ready means DOM ready. When your HTML page is ready, we are making Ajax call type of get. Again, is Postman also I explained this. So when you make this get call on success function, we are getting array of student objects like a Java for loop. We are iterating through this. This is like a list object, list dot length we are checking. And on every iteration, we are creating a dynamic tr, one new row. And in that row, we have to generate each field, right? TD. Under name section, name should be displayed, ID section, ID should be displayed. So from this list, by giving the index, getting each field value, almost the syntax is almost similar to Java syntax only. Okay. And in case of create on click of save id on click of save id button on click function, we are reading all the properties. In case if you want to apply any validations, you can apply here after reading name. If name is empty, if email is not formatted one, if pin code is not matching phone number, and if city and state, if you want to put in sync country, you can do all the validation stuff here. Yeah, so these two post and get calls we have seen from the front end also. Now I'll be showing you one security example using JWT token. Usually basic security how we will implement if you want to understand the basic security, right? Usually security will help you in two ways when you create application for many roles, right? Security, when and why, how it is required. Usually if your application is in public access public access, and if you want to control users, that means only permitted users if you want to allow, then security is required. Usually any application we give access to through like a web URL we generate, and we give access to through um, public access in the sense of through World Wide Web via domain. Though it is internal application also, we wanted to give access to few audience only, like Facebook if you see, or Gmail, or your company websites. There they will provide authentication. So if you are authenticated user, Then only they will allow you to get the application data. Like Facebook may have many roles, but when we look into the basic Facebook URL, www.facebook.com, mostly on this domain, they'll provide username passwords. Only for user role they given this domain page, facebook.com. Maybe for their developers, admin teams, they might have different domains. So this is for end users. Login. So for Facebook kind of applications, the expected user from this domain is user only, simple user. So normal Facebook user only will access. In such scenario, when somebody logs in here, Deekshit, if we log in, if we try to log in here with his credentials, if we enter valid credentials here, it should load actual page, and there it need to populate only his content, only Deekshit related content, his data or his friend's post or he liked pages. Only that data it need to populate. So for Deekshit, which is the information need to pull from the database, only that information it will pull. If table may have a lot of data, table may have a lot of information here, but out of this information, it need to pull only the information which is related to him, and it should populate all the images or whichever content. How system will identify based on the login data. When he log in, he will enter his user ID and password. Based on user ID, all this information is mapped. So while information creating itself, it will identify which information belongs to the chip. So it will pull and populate here. So in such simple applications, there will be only one user, one type of user. I mean, so it will just check basic authentication and it will get the data. In such application, basic authentication is required. Authentication is required. But if you see company portals, the insurance portal or banking portal, if you take a banking portal, for employees they used to have a different portal URL. Let's say ICICI.com. If I take, it has a lot of accesses: internet banking, customer care, credit card, personal loan. I just want to check here login given. Many types of logins we have: personal, NRA banking. If I click personal banking, infinity.com URL if you observe. So it is asking user ID and password. Okay. For everybody it is having same domain, infinity.com. So now here many types of users they have. Personal banking users, which means they are all the different roles: personal banking role users, NRI banking, corporate. Similarly, they may have a different domain for their employees also. So ICICI employees like managers, accountants. their supervisors, loan operators. They may have different domain, but if you see the simple ICICI.com itself is providing access to many types of users, not one type of user. Facebook was having only one type of user. So when you try to log in, when you enter www.facebook.com, it will ask username password, and it is expecting user a simple user in that Facebook use case. But here the same domain ICICI is providing personal banking, NRI banking, credit card banking, NRI credit card, credit banking. So many such we have. In that scenario, usually we enter username password here. For every personal banking or NRI banking, it will expect username password and login button. When you enter username password, so your user and password, it know for which banking you entered username password. On click of personal banking, it is loading personal banking page. For NRI banking, NRI banking page. So internally they might hide in the form itself, they might hide hidden parameter. In the hidden parameters, they might keep parameter value, which banking type it is. So is this login coming for personal banking or NRI banking? They will get this information because you are performing a event here, so that easily they can understand. On click of personal banking, it is loading this page, and definitely in this page they might have a hidden parameter personal banking along with your user ID password. When you enter, it will take your username password along with which type of user you are, a personal banking user or NRI user, credit card user or debit user or loan user. It will get the type also along with username password. It will get the type also, but we don't have that confusion in case of this public Facebook kind of application. So here, using this type, what it need to do before showing dashboard, right? Before going to show dashboard successful page. So the dashboard information should be different for each and every user. Personal banking user may have different kind of menu options here. NRI banking may have different menu options here. Credit card banking. So the menu must be different for everybody. So options and dashboard logos may be different to each user. So what it need to perform, your application need to check, authenticate whether he is having that particular username password in the system or not. Authenticate, and based on the user type. So along with authentication, the banking type also it will submit. So authenticate will check whether this user exists or not in the system. It will check. Post that, to load this dashboard page, to load this dashboard page, and while performing this menu operations, every time it will check which type of user you are, which type of user you are, personal banking user. So if you are a personal banking user, it will allow only personal banking menu options. Spammers or someone try to, if someone try to paste the URL, you logged into personal banking, but if you know the credit banking URL on that same browser, when you try to do URL rewriting with the same credentials, it should not allow. Your credentials are good, but you don't have authorizations for that credentials. Your credentials are only allowed for personal banking. So along with authentication, whether you are authorized or not, it should check authorization. authentication and authorized to that content or not, it should check. So in usually in old days, how we used to implement it, basic username passwords. We used to ask user, he used to enter his username password without any encryptions and all. We used to take his credentials and we used to perform for every request. We used to keep this login details into a session scope, and every time we used to check whether same session user continuing his request or not. But nowadays, all our applications are REST applications. We can't maintain any sessions. So once personal banking user entered his username password, we get here and we load the menu page. Hereafter, under menu, let's say if I log into my banking, there are so many options: add payee option, fund transfer option, recharge options. So many options I can see under menu. So when I click each option here, when I click each option, let's say if I click the transfer option, before populating the menu data here, again it should check whether this click performed by same user or not, is he a authorized user or not. But for every click, is it asking you to enter username password? No. One time it will get your login data credentials. Thereafter, when you click each URL, it will not ask you anything. As I said, while we were using servlets and all, we used to maintain session scope. Under that session, we used to maintain user information. Once he log in, his login information, we used to keep it into session. For every click, again and again, we used to check that session object. So if session object contains his data and already he is authenticated, we used to permit him. But nowadays we are using complete REST based. Even if you see the last application which we implemented, simple Ajax calls we are using, and in real time we maintain separate front end that might be deployed in a server, and backend application may be deployed in different server, and REST calls used to happen between them. So I can't maintain session there. They are, you know, stateless data we used to transfer every time. We can't maintain state. So in such scenarios, what they are recommending is, once the user requested for login, check authentication and authorization both. Once authentication and authorization is verified, generate him one token. Generate him one token, a unified token, a token, a unique token. Generate it. Give that token to him. It will generate a token and it will forward the token to you, this user. I mean, as a developer, you should get the token. When you log in, it will give you a token. Take that token, and for every URL while you are clicking transfer or whatever it is, for every URL when you click, or for that URL, along with that URL, you need to send token to again backend. So already this token is generated by the system. That token is very unique. Token is unique. That it may be combination of this user from where he is requesting, his mission ID, his browser ID, time zone. Using so many parameters, it might generated the token. So it will understand again with a new URL, same token is carried. System will understand. Okay, I given this token to Dikshit. So from his mission, from same time zone, from same browser session ID, if it is coming, it will say authentication and authorization class to allow him. Or if that token is hacked by someone, and let's say somebody, I'm requesting from Hyderabad, somebody taken that token, somehow they hacked it, and if they try to rehit with that token from USA or UK somewhere else, based on the region and based on his browser session ID, the authentication class whichever is implemented, it may not allow. The token is good, but it is not coming from the right place. So all such verifications used to happen with the token, and it will be allowed each and every URL which you hit. If you try to add payee option, or if you want to do some recharges, for every click it might verify that token. I mean, as a developer, you need to submit that token along with your URL. So then only it will permit you, or else it will not allow you. So in Spring, they given for to handle this authentication and authorization, right? In Spring, they have provided security configuration adapter. Let me show you. Web security configuration adapter given. Okay, I don't want to go very in detail into it, but let's understand on high level. Web security configuration adapter for security applications. Okay, wherever you want to provide security applications. So you will have so many front end screens and so many back end classes here. You will have multiple controllers, multiple front end screens. From front end screen, always we call controllers only, the APIs. Here you may have huge number of controllers, API classes, your controllers, and so many front end screens you may have here. After login screen, if you are authorized, if you are authorized, you will be getting so many screens. For every link from your menu, you may get so many screens for every menu item. Then I click link one kind of data, link to another data. So for every link, you may get different set of data here. So for every link, you may have different kind of API class here. To verify these login credentials and for every link, to verify whether is he logged in user or not, before executing your controllers, this adapter class will be executed like a filter, web security configuration adapter. Security adapter filter, filters how they execute. Servlet filters will execute before every controller servlet class. Similarly, this adapter filter will be executed for every request during login, during every link. This link is required data from this API class, and the next link required data from another API class. On each and every request, it will verify whether you are authorized or not, authenticated user or not. It will check. On right? During first time login, it will verify during first time login, it will verify is this user currently active in this system or not. In the database, you should have your user credentials, maybe a login table, users table. There, every user, whoever trying, he may need to have his username, password, and during saving password also, this password should not appear to database admins or database users. If you try to apply query on this database, it should not give this data. So authenticated, I mean, your username, let's say Dikshit I have, and his password, something ABC123, if we save in database directly, everybody can see this data. Instead, encoded password. His password actually is ABC123 only. But end to end if you can do encryption, end-to-end encryption, if you do from front end to back end, once you enter your password, when you click on login button, in front end itself it need to parse it. The data, if it can parse to a different format using any algorithm, if it formatted, nobody can't understand this what you entered. So that formatted data only it will send to adapter, and it will check against the password the formatted data. If matching, then it will allow. If not, then it will not allow. So if somebody see this password also, they can't directly log in. If they try to enter this password from the login screen, again this whichever data you entered that will be passed. That parsed information may not match with this password, so it will not be permitted. So to parse, there are so many algorithms, right? Base 64 security algorithms it uses internally, and it will encapsulate or it will encrypt your data, all that encryption, authorization also it can verify. You can have roles table in such a way you can configure in security. If this is a role, user role, allow, I mean the permissions you can configure here. For user role, for admin role, I want to give permission screen 1, screen 2, screen 3. For simple user role, I want to allow only screen 1. For manager role, I want to give screen 2, screen 3 also. When you have such authorization parameters, permissions, we can configure them as well. Let me give you a basic example here. So I'm just using MySQL database. Admin app is the MySQL workbench. This is the schema. Let's log into that schema. And there is one secret for doing generating a token. And the expiration time also you can put here. How much time you want to keep that into live in milliseconds. Let's say you want to keep generally banking applications, right? If you don't uh, re-trigger your application for next 2 minutes or 1 minute, it will expire that token. As soon as it expires, directly it will redirect you login page. Again, it will ask you to log in. It will, if you perform any click, immediately it will log out your application. So you may put here 2000 milliseconds if I put. So 2 seconds only, 20 seconds, 2 minutes. So 2 minutes only if the token, whichever you want, generate, keep it into life. And this is the secret. This secret will help encoding to generate a encoded string. So maybe this one also cloud config we discussed, right? Maybe from vaults, if somebody configure this secret, the secret will come from vault. Nobody will see that secret. Using this secret, again one encoded string will be generated. That encoded is stored into database. So nobody cracked that encoded string. So apart from you, who knows the password, others cannot able to log in. So simple test controller I have here with the API test. So here I have one method just returning public content. This is allowed for all. Okay, any user in my system, any user can access it. If I enter user URL, if my URL or this link consider, these are the links. If it is a all link, I want to allow for every user. If it is a user link, I want to allow for only role user. If it is a MOD link, I want to allow only moderate or admin. If it is an admin link, I want to allow only admin. Or it's child links also. Okay. So I'm putting authorization in such a way, if the action is having this, then pre-authorized, authorized filter right will verify every time whether this user or logged in user having this particular role or not. And we have models here for role and users. Table is having username, email parameters. So we generated it as a unique constraint. So both combinations should be unique, and one password. And one more entity we have, roles. So role name we have here, role ID and role. Again this role we have separate entity. So enum we have here. So the values are role underscore user, role underscore moderator, and role underscore admin. So those are the three roles. I think I should have these tables. One table name is roles, and one table is users. Let's log into admin app schema. Use admin app. Okay. Show tables. Okay. So I have users table, roles table, and user roles mapping table. A third table for mapping. So let's verify. Do I have users? Select the star from users. So I have users with encoded password, their email ID and usernames I have, but password we don't know. Though I can see the database, I can't log into the system because this is an encoded format. If you try it also, it fails. You can't log in. So roles table, select star from roles, user role, admin role, moderator role. Three roles we have. And the next table is users underscore roles. Select star from users underscore roles. So here given each user ID and his role ID. So multiple users with same role we have. So during creation, maybe it is creating with one role only. What is that role one? User. Okay. Now let's test this application. And to create new user also, here we have sign up. In controller we have sign up option. Authentication controller we have sign in method. And registered user method also we have. Sign up. During sign up, it is accepting a sign up request object. Sign up request should have username, email, and I think you can choose role. You can enter role value or array of roles also we can set of roles. So this is for sign up. So as soon as you enter this object, maybe from postman you can test, or you can send this username password from login screen also. Once you try to sign up, it is verifying with username, right? It is checking user repository exist by username or not. Again and again, if you try to sign up, it should not allow, right? So the primary check it is applying already this user there in the system or not. Exist by username. So if exist, it is sending response entity, bad request. Under body, it is sending a message, error message. Username is already taken. With the email ID also, it is verifying. Again, bad request. Email ID is also used. If it is not falling under this two if conditions, if it go to first if condition, it is returning. If something I written, it will not execute further logic. It will if it go to second if condition by passing the first one. You enter different name with same email ID. It will go here. Again it will return from here. If you return means end. It will not execute further. If this two ifs not executed, then it will come here. So creating a new user object just by passing username and email ID here. And coming to password, whichever password you entered, right? Using encoder, we are encoding it here. So while constructing this user object itself, a encoded password we are generating. Means hereafter nobody can't imagine what password you enter. So such a password sensitive information we don't even print in logs also. Okay. So once this user is constructed, the role also entered, right, in sign up request. Get role. So if you submitted set of roles, that set of roles being passed here. If role is null, no value given. So simply we are setting here simple end user role. Else, if role value is not null, okay. We are iterating through roles as it is a set value, right? So for each role, we are checking by using switch case. If the role is admin, constructing a role object here. Find by name under role repository. Is this role available or not? If it is admin, we are trying to get admin role object and adding that to roles, which is empty set value. So set of roles end user can pass from front end. Let's say I want to be admin, moderator, and user. If I enter three values, first it will check this condition. If it passed, it will set that admin role here. And will it exit? Okay. So from here it will finish. Again, as it is a for each loop, again the new role value which I entered will come here. If I entered moderator also, it will add moderator also to the roles. End user, if 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 not matching with this two, the third one is end user role. So if I pass along with admin, moderator, something user or end user something, by default it will go here and it will add that role as well. Finally, the list of roles or set of roles created and added into user object. Till here we constructed user object with username, email and encoded password and set of roles. Finally, we are saving it. So as soon as you save it, it will save your data. Which data? users data into user table, users data, email ID, password, and username will save here. And whichever roles you entered, that roles data will store under user underscore roles table. Let's say my user ID is 1. I entered 3 roles. It will insert 3 records here. Here. User ID 1, role 1, user ID 1, role 2, user ID 1, role 3. This is many to many mapping table. Right, in many to many mapping, we will have a third table, particularly users and roles. One user can have many roles. Same role can have many users. So this is the third table to insert that combination data here. That's it. Finally, response user registered successfully. So whichever user registered, he can go to sign up. This method, sign in method. Once sign up, sign in method. During sign in, what he need to pass? Username, password. Once he entered username and password, see what steps I am doing here. Using a authentication manager like this one, a security adapter. Authentication manager and asking to authenticate. Check it, verify it. What it should verify? Username, password, authentication. Okay. So it is constructing one authentication token via constructor. I am supplying username and password fields here. So usually whatever password is yours, ABC123 or with your name at the rate 123 something, right? That will be passed here. Actually, whichever record you created during creation, you don't have that password here. Actually, already it is encrypted. Using encoder, we encrypted. Using same encoder, it need to be decrypted. So you given here. So this is the constructor. It is passing that values to constructor. Internal mechanism. It might be using again the same encoder to decode it. Okay. So a authentication object is created and we are giving it to security context holder. All the security context holder authentication, all are being part of your security adapter only. So authentication object we created and given it to security context. And same authentication object we given to JWT utils class also. This is one more class which is implemented. So this JWT utils class is going to do all this token validation, token generation, generate a token. So using token get the username, whether that username is matching with the token or not. Validate the token using whichever secrets you have given, whichever expiration time you have given. Using all that parameters, it is generating a JWT token here. Okay. So on high level, it is generating a JWT token till here. Okay. Thereafter, using authentication class, get principals, getting user details object. So using this user details objects, it is verifying all the roles. It is getting all the roles and finally it is returning a new JWT response object with the JWT ID, username and email and whatever roles he contains. Thereafter, you get the token. And as usual, your roles, your email ID, along with token, you received it. What next? Now, you signed up and again you logged in. Login from login page. Now, once login is done, it is sending response, right? It is saying your login is fine. Get this token. Okay. So as it is saying, my login is success. I'll load the dashboard page. I'll read a simple dashboard page. Or I'll load dashboard page from my front end dashboard. On the dashboard, I have multiple links. Multiple links in the sense like this. Test controller I have, users link, moderator link, some links I have. So as soon as I click on a link, it will go to that so and so method. Hello, I go to 200 links. Okay. Uh, let's test it. Okay, I'm running it. It is a little lengthy if I deep dive, but if you try to understand with the security adapter that sign up and sign in, easily you will understand this. Okay. Now just let me run this simple code. So database also available. Port number is in 9090. I'm running this application. Okay. Okay. Coming to dependencies, you can check Spring security dependency must be added here. Spring Web, Spring Security, Spring Starter Security is the remaining data JPA, validator, Spring Validator for validations, and Spring Web dependency. If I try to run this, it run without any issues. You can check it quickly. Remind me later. It looks application started. Okay, with all controllers, adapters, it is started on 9090. Okay, as I don't have front end from Postman, I can verify it. Just a minute, yes. Quickly we will test it. Okay, I'll show you sign up and sign in with the token, how to place the request also. If I search sign up, sign up, oh, sign up link I have here. I'll register someone here. Okay, so let's say if I give Priyanka username, Priyanka at Gmail, and password Priyanka at the rate 1, and I'm giving simple role admin here and send it. So user registered successfully. Try to register again. Error. Username is already taken. Means only one time it is allowing. If I try to change the name also, Priyanka1 with the same email ID. Email is already taken. So it is expecting combination should be, though combination should be unique in database side, code is verifying it. Both username and email, if they exist, it is not allowing it. Okay. So the new record must be created here in users Priyanka at the red Gmail with a generated token, a unique token. You see, the unique token is generated with a 64-bit token, and username is Priyanka. Email, password, this, and the role must be created for this user. User ID is 7. For 7, the role is 1. Admin role. Now signing. On sign up is done. Priyanka at the rate 1. Sign in. authenticate slash shiny. The body value we should enter username Priyanka and password. When you post it, if it is authorized, it is saying okay. Oh, we entered maybe wrong user while creating it created role and user. It's okay. Time being okay. So it is given your username, email, and role and the access token. So this is the token that you have. So now onwards, whenever you request and the token type is valid token. Whenever you try to access your controllers, right? The next links, you need to enter that token. Without a token, if you try to invoke them, you can't able to access. So as it is saying user role, right? Let's ask API slash test slash user. API slash test slash user. Test slash user. Get link. So this get link I want to hit. So while sending that get link via headers, I mean via authorization parameters, you need to enter the token, valid token, whichever it is generated, right? You should paste here. Then send it. 500 internal server error. Barrier token. Okay, not basic authentication. Barrier token. This is the barrier token. Copy. Test slash user. Paste. What is happening? Connection refused. 9191 slash products. Okay. Something I am trying to fetching from that method. Products data I am trying to getting. There it is failing. Get all products. It is making subsequent call to next services. Okay, after security you may integrate with your services. Okay, as I don't have any services, it is throwing error. Let me create simple list here. Set to product ID. I'll just give two parameters. Okay, we are running out of time. List dot add product key. Okay, just refresh the application. Not restarting. Let me restart. Dev tools not added. Na, that's a reason. Let's hit it now. The earlier generated token might expire. Unauthorized token is expired, I believe, because we restarted application, right? Once again sign in. So a new token generated. You can observe this token which is generating always it is unique. You can't see this token again in your lifetime. A new token will be generated every time. Now send it. It is saying okay, giving product data also. And if I try to call moderator URL, forbidden, 403, not authorized. Admin link, forbidden, not authorized. All public content I can read. I can read public content which is permitted to me, and user content also. If I continuously hit this for next 2 minutes, it will work. If I ideally keep it for next 2 minutes, my token will be expired. Again, it will send the login page. Again, I need to log in. Again, new token will be generated. I need to carry that token every time. So this is how, using simple JWT token, you can secure your application, and you can authorize your application also. Okay. So with the front end, if you do right, beautiful example you can create. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. I'll upload this example. Okay. Try yourself. I think tables it will generate automatically. You just keep your database properties. That's it. I'm using MySQL. If you want Arcil, configure Arcil.